Worksheet day 3 is going to start out with finding the common denominator so that you can add or subtract fractions. So when I'm finding the common denominator, I'm finding the least common multiple of my denominators. If you can't think of it right away, what I do is I start with the bigger denominator, which is 10. Does 8 divide into 10? No. So I think of the next multiple of 10. 2 times 10 is 20. Does 8 divide into 20? No. So I think of the next multiple of 10, which is 30. Does 8 divide into 30? Nope. So I do my next multiple, 40. 8 does divide into 40, so 40 is going to be what you want to use for your common denominator. So start with the bigger denominator and start listing the multiples until you find one that the smaller one goes into. Now I have to make my equivalent fraction like I did on the previous page. 10 goes into 40, 4 times 8, 32. So I would have 32 40ths. 8 goes into 40 5 times. So 6 times 5 is 30. So I have 32 40ths and 30 40ths. After you do the basic ones like this, then they're going to have you start adding those together. So I would add the numerators and get 62 40ths and rewrite that as a mixed number if I need to. But they're going to just start out by having you make the equivalent fractions. Then they're going to start having you add your numbers together. So on number 2, again, wanting you to find your common denominator, I have 8 and 9. 9 is my bigger one, so I start with 9. 8 doesn't go into 9. 9 times 2 is 18. 8 doesn't go into 18. 9 times 3 is 27. 9 times 4 is 36. 9 times 5 is 45. 9 times 6 is 54. 9 times 7 is 63. And 9 times 8 is 72. Now maybe you recognize that 9 and 8 didn't have any common factors to begin with. If your denominators don't have any common factors, your least common denominator is just found by taking the 8 times the 9. 8 times 9 is 72. So that you can then make your equivalent fractions. 8 goes into 72 9 times, so 2 times 9 would give me 18 on top. 9 goes into 72 8 times, so 8 times 8 is 64. So if you look at it right away and say, oh, I don't have a common factor like the previous one did, it had a 2, I can just multiply them together to find my common denominator. So on the test gen worksheet generator, it doesn't always give me every kind of problem that you see. It's just giving us these ones where you practice finding your common denominator here. Again, 12 and 5 don't have any factors in common. They don't have anything you can divide into both of them. So your least common denominator is just going to be the 12 times 5, which is 60. 12 goes into 60 5 times. 5 times 7 is 35. 5 goes into 60 12 times, so 12 times 4, 48. So again, first starting out doing that, and then once you do a few of those, it's going to have you really start adding them. So I'm just going to continue with this one. If it told me to add, then I'm going to go ahead and add. So 5 plus 8 would be 13. 3 plus 4 is 7, plus the 1 is 8, so I get 83 over 60ths. When you have improper fractions, they're going to have you write the mixed number. So 60 goes into 83 one time. I get 23 left over, so I have 23 60ths, so 1 and 23 60ths. So it'll have you start doing some of these, but eventually it'll get to the point where it tells you to add them together and then write your answer either in simplified form or as a mixed number.